tire swap. I'm going to install my winter tires. It's are Nokian a Capellita or something. So these are like 2 years or 2 seasons old, and as you can see here, I have 40% left. And before I swap them in the fall, what I do, I mark them. So this was rear right, and if you see here tire rotation, it shows you an arrow. Some people think that the old ways work, like the front tire goes to, so front right goes to rear left. I've done that on other cars, but some of these tires, the newer ones, have a pattern. So you have to follow the pattern, and because of that pattern, they have this marked rotation. So you cannot just cross swap. So this one used to be a rear right, and now it's going to be front right. So right stay on right and left stays on left. So I marked every tire, every wheel, and I keep them on the rims. So this is original Mitsubishi rim. So this was front right, and now it's going to be rear right. And this one, as you can see, it has 60% left, because it used to be in the front and I don't keep it on all-wheel drive all the times, so it's less worn out. Same thing goes with the other side, the left side. So this used to be front left, now it's going to be rear left. So that's easy. So you see here, this has 50%. You can see 60 here, but it's about 40% left. So it goes on the front, where I don't need a traction all the times. I use traction only when it's in four-wheel drive. And this one must have some 60%. You see, I can see the 60% mark. And the reason I'm installing this one, like I said, I'm going on Kokihala Highway. I've used this all season tires on Kokihala a week ago, and it was okay. It was okay, but today I did look at the webcams on Kokihala, and I saw lots of snow, and I thought, okay, snow plows cannot beat the snow, so it's too much for them. And I could see like some trucks on a snow on a highway, like some car was going on those trucks, but I don't want to take the chance with these things. And these are maybe 2 seasons old, good year. So I went on the highway when the highway was a bit icy, slippery, and I tried to get stuck on the snow, wet snow. I got stuck, which was fun. I did that on purpose. It was fun, so luckily I got out easy, because I don't get stuck far from the highway. And now I use my knee pad, whatever I find in my truck, and I use this jack. And because of this car, it's a bit different. I don't want to use this jack here on the jack point. So this one has some jack points underneath. I don't want to use those, and so I use the suspension parts. And you don't have to follow. This is not an advice. And I use some spray. So I loosen these nuts first, so it's easy to take it out. And once this one is jacked up, you should use another jack as a backup. So one of those jack stands. So you use the hydraulic one, then you put that one as a backup, as a safety. So I trust my tool, even it's very old, maybe 10 years old, but I trust it, and I'm using it without a backup. So this one comes out very easy. Now I have the wheel out, and it's a good opportunity to inspect stuff. So some links, if I see something loose, and I inspect the rotors here and everything here. If I see the rubbers, some cracks or some grease spilling out, then of course I know that, and I will take care of it at the first service. And I will always start to take care of the rust. So since I'm in British Columbia, the rust is nasty. When I bought it, was pretty nice, pretty new. So I have a spacer here, and I've used some conductive grease to prevent the corrosion. It seems that it did work, so I don't have any corrosion here, like a white powdery salts from aluminum, right? And so I stored my lug nuts here away from the wet pavement. And one thing I need to mention, that I always store this one with no pressure. It's like just the rubber itself, but I remove all the air before the storage. And some people say it's not necessary. Like my wife, when she swapped the winter tires, the tire shop left the air inside. So some people are like that. Other people may suggest that you don't want to stretch the rubber unnecessarily. So I don't know, probably depends of the rubber, but I just remove the air, and I have the air compressor to pump some air back to the correct pressure, which is marked on the side door inside the car. So once I have this one nicely inspected, I might want to use some spray to clean some dirt off the bolts. I don't really need it because I see it's clean, but this one contains some lubricant. So because it's lubricant, I will have to retort or tighten the lug nuts later, maybe in 100k or something. And it looks okay. And let me put the this wheel into its place. Almost to make a mistake to install the original wheel, but I saw my handwriting 2020 right left, so I thought, oh, that's my fresh handwriting. So you see, when people get old, I need to set a reminder. So that's the reason I install, or I set the wheels just beside each other, so I know I don't have to think again. So I have a kind of a step process, step by step, so I really mix things up. So one of the steps is set all the wheels in the correct spot. It's like put each wheel in its own place. Then I go to the next step, take the nuts out and all that. So good thing that I did that, because but it felt odd, because one wheel has spacer, which is the other one, and this one, the original one that has winter tire, does not need the spacer because it's original wheel. And now I have to keep installing the lug nuts by hand, of course. And the next one is tightening. Once I have it torqued, or at least tightened by hand, I never had an accident, and I have torque wrench in the car, and I could do that, but I go by feel, and I know I can't really over torque these ones, but I will never leave it loose to cause me trouble. So I used torque wrench before, which is industrial purpose type of torque wrench, and I went to compare. So I thought, okay, I'm within those specifications, so I do this by hand, and most people do that by hand. The guys at the shop, they use one adjustment on their air power tool, and they use the same torque to all the cars they service, and which I don't think it's okay, but I never heard people have an accident because of over torquing. So that's, once I have it tightened, I just have to release the hydraulic pressure here on this thing, and probably this wheel is going to roll. As expected, right? So it's part of my adventure. So now I have to read the pressure on the tire placard, which is supposed to be here, 265 type 2.0. What? Huh. So I don't have, I know I have, but I don't know what it is. 109, 112. What's that? Huh. Maybe it's on the other door. So it has some specs here, but those are for the engine. That's weird. So how come I've done it every season and now I don't know where is my my pressure values here? So let me find out. So what it says here is made in Russia, okay, and it says maximum 80 psi cold. But what I'll do 40, because what I remember, I used to do 40. And one thing I can do is to use my air compressor tool and measure the other one, which is the same size. And let me see what's on the other wheel. Made in Chile. It doesn't show the maximum air pressure, but it should show here somewhere. Okay, it says 80 psi cold. So this one has a snowflake, but I was a bit concerned about those roads. Right, so 2 reinforced layers, Kevlar. Yeah, so I'm going to measure this one using the air compressor gauge, and I'll use the same pressure. So the other one, it shows 36. Yeah, I could do 40. It's going to be a bit rough ride, or maybe to do 35, 36 to make it softer, give me better grip on the snow, but it takes more fuel. Maybe I could put low. Yeah, I'll put 40 and I'll lower the pressure when I get to Coquihalla. Right, I'll do that. This thing will stop automatically when it reaches the preset pressure. So it might take me a while. I lost the connector, the adapter, so I have to hold it by hand. Otherwise, I would just do my stuff while this one is inflating. But it works. 21 already. See, it stops because it's building air into the hose, and when it reaches the, oh yeah, it was 60 something. I set it too high, so let's set it lower. Actually 43, yes. Okay, but it stops 40 something, 44. So let's do that again. And one last thing, I will have to take this one to wheel balancing. It's included in the purchase of the tires. So that's the reason I take the air out. One of the reasons I take the air out, because every season when I swap the tires, the wheels by myself, I go to the shop. They have these wheels recorded with my license plate, and they do the balancing they included in the purchase price, so that's why I paid $1,500 on these things. And for now, like for a couple of days I'm going to drive with them the way they are. I'll notice if it's some weird vibration on the highway, then I know I'll drive slower until the vibration stops, and the first opportunity I'll go to get it balanced. So that's my recording for today. This is not an instructional video. It's just for those who are curious, the way I'm curious about things, some new topics for me. I look at online videos, people share their experiences, and I learned a lot. So yeah, I hope someone will learn a bit from my experience and from other YouTube users' experiences, and all that builds up and helps you to do things, to feel you accomplished something instead of wasting your time on Netflix. Take care. Be safe.